Welcome to TMZ Live. There is some interesting information, not just about Nancy Guthrie, but about Savannah Guthrie. So there's been a lot of talk about how does she come back to the Today Show as long as things are unresolved. And the reality is, and our law enforcement sources are saying this, that this case could be unresolved for months, even years, before they find Nancy Guthrie. That is just a stark reality right now. The FBI does not have any solid leads, nor does the Pima County Sheriff's Office. They don't. And they are at a point now where this is becoming a cold case. So Savannah Guthrie acknowledged this in her last video, that it would take a miracle for her mom to be alive at this point. And there are realities to all of this. This is a very religious family. Nancy Guthrie was very religious. And, the closure of finding Nancy, whether she's alive or not, is something this family clearly needs. I mean, you see this written all over Savannah's face, as she's spoken over the last month. And she's not getting that closure. And so the question, what does she do? Does she come back to the Today Show and just, as they say, put on a happy face and, push this to the side for 2 hours a day, or not? And if she decides to come back, when does she do that? And does she address it if she comes back? She's going to have to say something. But it is a shadow, a cloud that will be cast over her. You can just feel it as you watch her, until there's some closure with her mom. So here's what we're told. We're told no decision has been made yet. And that Savannah, we are told, has not communicated anything to NBC in terms of a return date or lack thereof. And the important thing we're told is NBC has absolutely not exerted any pressure on her for any return date, that they are giving her the space she needs right now, but NBC is sitting back and waiting. So I think that, at this point, what you could say is it's up in the air, that, Savannah may come back. She may come back in 2 weeks. She may not come back. We don't know. She hasn't said, but NBC is not putting pressure on her. As for Nancy Guthrie, a video surfaced the other day of a dozen cars that were driving a couple of miles from the residence of Nancy Guthrie in the hours after the kidnapping. Because we know that's when the Google video from the Nest camera captured this person at Nancy's front door. So that is at 2:12 when the Google search of the Nest camera revealed this man at Nancy's door. So he's there. Now, 2.5 miles away, there's a road, and there are cars going back and forth. One of them, the first one, you see past 19 minutes after that video was taken. So theoretically, 19 minutes would be long enough for somebody perhaps to go inside, take Nancy, put her in a car, and drive those 2.5 miles. So it is possible, in terms of time, that one of those cars could be the kidnapper's car. And there were a dozen of these cars, in that period of time. But the first of which, 19 minutes after the person was on that doorstep. Our FBI sources say that this is a dead end, that the placement of the road against Nancy's house makes no sense, that it's the opposite direction from anything, and they have looked also at the ingress and egress around that road, and they have already looked at this and said, there is nothing here. So even though it seems enticing to see that car go by, the FBI, we're told, has already made a decision that there is no real lead produced by the video. So right now, they don't have a suspect. They don't have a person of interest. They do not have a vehicle. They clearly think there is something to that first ransom note that we and two local television stations in Tucson received. But as far as we know, they have not been able to track down who wrote that note, nor are they able to track down the person who has been sending us demand letters saying for a certain amount of money, they will give them information leading to Nancy and the kidnapper. So this is becoming a cold case, and it must be an absolute nightmare for the Guthrie family.
Hello, my name is Liza. I'm from Louisiana. Me personally, I think she should give it a little more time. Roughly, her mom's been missing for 26 days. I don't think they've dotted all their I's nor crossed all their T's in that short time frame. I wouldn't return to today's show until my mom returned home.
But what happens? But I got to ask you, because think about this. What if they just don't find Nancy? Do you put your life in suspended animation?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For how long? For 10 years?
If that's how long it takes for my mom to come back, absolutely.
But would your mom, I mean, look, God forbid, but would your mom want you to put your life on hold and basically mourn for 10 years and not be productive and not in any way try to become satisfied?
No, you have to look at it from a different point. I would say no, she wouldn't want me to mourn for 10 years, but I would. Being the daughter, I would mourn for 10 years until my mom returns.
Fair enough. A new federal indictment has come down in the Don Lemon case. You know, he was arrested for covering, I'm sorry, I'm just going to call it for what it is. He was covering a protest in a church in Minneapolis over the ICE, I was going to say the ICE capades, but really the deaths in Minneapolis, the arrests in Minneapolis, the violence in Minneapolis. There was a protest at a church. Don Lemon covered it. He was arrested. They said he was a co-conspirator. There were several other people arrested as well. Today, they are arresting, as we speak, they're still doing it, 30 other people. All the people, apparently, who were in that church protesting, they are arresting them, saying that they interfered with the parishioners' First Amendment right to exercise freedom of religion. There is a quote in the document that says a group of approximately 40 agitators, including all of the defendants named in the indictment, entered the church in a coordinated takeover-style attack and engaged in acts of oppression, intimidation, threats, interference, and physical obstruction alleged herein. So now 30 people additional have been arrested and charged with felonies, with federal crimes. And there's one thing in this document that I did find kind of interesting, and this is kind of off-putting, if true. They say, while inside the church, defendant Kelly disrupted the service by claiming, "This ain't God's house. This is the house of the devil." And that this person screamed Nazi and congregants and said to the kids, "Do you know your parents are Nazis? They're going to burn in hell." That's kind of off-putting, I gotta say.
It is off-putting. So I think we need to separate things here. There is a law that stops people from protesting at churches. We can think that law is anti-American, unconstitutional. But that exists. And most of the people there, let's hold Don Lemon aside, did in fact seem to break that law. We can, again, disagree with the law, but the law is what it is, and they seem to have broken it.
I don't think you can lump Don Lemon in that, because Don Lemon says I wasn't a protester, I was a reporter.
And he was covering the event, and obviously that's a heightened level of protection that, without journalists covering these things, we don't know about them.
It should immunize him.
Should immunize him, right. Now, the feds have alleged that he was actually sort of rabble-rousing and kind of drumming it up in order for him to film it, but we've seen the video, and it doesn't look, you just like
he's
an
not.
impartial viewer that doesn't see that.
He's just not. He's saying that I'm going to follow you guys, I'm not going to give up the location, which is what any good journalist would say, because you don't want competitors to get the address. So why would he give that?
Right. There's no reason at all.
He's a journalist.
This reminds me so much on the other side of the political spectrum of what happened after January 6th. The feds are going through and they're reviewing the videotapes, and now they're adding more and more people to the indictment, saying they were all part of this grand conspiracy. That's exactly what happened on January 6th. Obviously, very different circumstances, but this is exactly the playbook the feds used to increase the number of indictments in that matter as well.
And that's the point. And look, whatever your political view is, who are you going to believe? This indictment or your lying eyes? That, yeah, they went into a church and they protested, and some people said some things that were awful.
Yeah.
Okay, that's clear. And maybe you're right about, that there is a violation of that law, maybe. Compare that to January 6th, because I think you got to do that, because both are the federal government making decisions where you have people breaking windows, injuring police officers, some of whom died after the fact.
A woman died, a protester died.
A protester died, but taking over the Capitol, defecating in Nancy Pelosi's office, taking over the speaker's chair, screaming, hang Mike Pence, looking for Mike Pence.
Don't forget carrying zip ties with the intent of taking Nancy Pelosi captive.
As the Congress hides in a room when their job was to certify the election. So when you take those circumstances and then look at it and see that people were convicted of that, and the president pardoned them and even called them patriots.
Yeah.
How do you square that with them going after somebody walking into a church for 20 minutes and doing this? How do you square the two?
It's unsquareable.
It is unsquareable.
Hi, this is Kimberly from Austin, Texas, and I totally agree with you. The precedent was set by the president, and now he's trying to throw enough spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks when it's politically convenient, and that just does not work in this circumstance. When it comes to Don Lemon and his arrest, obviously, there was he wasn't a part of it. He's using and these people are using their First Amendment right to a certain extent, of course. There was the protest aspect, but when we already have that legal precedent or the precedent set by the president for January 6th, this does not make any sense whatsoever. So I don't agree with this. You've got to have it one way or another. We've got to have consistency. And in this case, this is capricious and a lot of nonsense, quite frankly.
Coming up.
Kelly Clarkson is not returning to her talk show after 7 seasons. There is a big twist right now. We are told that they are taking a hard look at Pink.
Be right back.
Kelly Clarkson is not returning to her talk show after 7 seasons. And the way it looked, the show was simply going to go off the air. But there is a big twist right now. Pink is substituting for Kelly Clarkson this week. And the staff is really taken by her. And apparently, so is NBC. We are told that they are taking, as it was put to us by somebody connected to all of this, a hard look at Pink as somebody who would, I don't want to even say replace Kelly Clarkson, because the show itself would be redone and it would be Pink, not Kelly Clarkson. So that's getting way ahead of ourselves because no decision has been made. We don't even know if Pink wants that, but we are told that NBC does not want to squander that time period. It's a really profitable time period for NBC, where the Kelly Clarkson show is. And they don't want to just give it up to somebody else. So, and there are other stations that they have to sell the show to. And if Kelly goes off the air, CBS might sell a show to one of these independent stations. So they want to keep the stations, and they are looking at Pink. And I kind of loved this. There was one person we talked to connected to all of this, saying how nice Pink is and how easy it is to work with her. And the way the person put it was, this is a no butthole zone, if you know what I mean. And Pink is part of that. She is a nice person who is easy to work with. And they're crossing their fingers over at the Kelly Clarkson show, hoping that NBC would give this a go.
Yeah, and this is really exciting too, because I think a lot of people that have been watching the Kelly Clarkson show never really thought that Pink would be so good. She is fantastic. Everyone is loving her. She is perfect for this to be like a permanent role for her. Also, we're told too that she's been living in New York.
Right.
Obviously, that's where the show films.
Right.
So just the fact that she is kind of showing that she's open to being on the East Coast too makes it something that could possibly turn into a permanent
I
role.
think the Kelly Clarkson show started on the West Coast and then they moved it to the East Coast.
Yes, but it
so
is
they could go
stationed
back
there
and
now.
forth depending on where.
True, but
yeah.
she is showing like she will be available to be over there. Obviously, if they need her, she is living over there.
Right.
So it works out.
The one problem is that we're getting into March and it's kind of late in the season for these various stations that buy shows, that they've done it a lot in January and February. So it's unclear how many of these stations are still available. My guess is that they will figure something out if Pink wants to do it.
Ooh.
Hey, it's Becca Berger from Warwick, Rhode Island. So Pink has been in the news so much this week. This is the third big story for her. And I think it's kind of a natural transition from Kelly Clarkson to Pink. There's a lot of similarities there, both in their career and their career span and their music. One big difference is, yes, Kelly Clarkson is outspoken. She is she's very relatable, I should say. But Pink is very outspoken. She's not afraid to go there in terms of politics and where she stands. So it'll be interesting to see how the daytime audience receives that.
Well, you know, it's funny because the daytime audience will receive some of that. We saw it with Ellen and Rosie O'Donnell. But when it gets to a point, it's such a divisive country right now that if you go too far, you lose half the audience and you lose the show. So that's going to be the trick. So there is a reunion. And personally, this makes me so happy. I've known Debbie Rowe for a long, long time. And Debbie Rowe, if you remember, was once married to Michael Jackson, carried 2 of his children. And one of them is Paris Jackson. And Debbie really didn't know Paris after Paris was born. I mean, one of the deals they had was that Debbie would not be part of her life and that Michael would raise her. And Michael did until he died in 2009. And Paris was estranged from Debbie for a long time. They reunited at a point during Paris's teens, and that didn't work, and Paris had her own struggles, and Debbie tried to help, and Paris was not receptive to it. So this has been a back and forth relationship for a long time. Frankly, I thought they were going to just kind of go their separate ways. And then last night we got these pictures of Paris and Debbie together. This is at Debbie's ranch in Southern California. And they are not just back together, they are close again. They see each other every week. They ride horses at Debbie's ranch. And it's just, you know, Paris has been through it. And so has Debbie. And just the fact that they are close now is really something.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, apparently they've really bonded over the horses. There's some video of them riding, so that was kind of
Debbie is all about
what
that.
brought them back together, at least now. But the interesting, I mean, at the end of the day, it's her biological mom. It's always going to be her mom no matter what. And at the end of the day, it's like, Paris has talked about how Debbie wasn't there for her when she was like a little kid, and then they were more like an adult relationship once they got to know each other.
Not so much, she's my mom, she's my friend. Yeah.
But they have always been there for each other. Debbie got cancer, breast cancer. Paris was there for her. Paris had all the drug issues. Debbie was there for her. So it's like, it's just nice to see them together and, you know.
Yeah, and it was going back and forth so that they would be together and then it would, Paris would go off and the 2 of them would have
we were
no
told they're very different as far as like people. So it's just an interesting combination, but at the end of the day, it's her mom.
It's really, really nice.
Hi, my name is John Charles Aguilar from Los Angeles, California, and I got to say that I love this story. The reunite with her mother is just amazing. I mean, I'm sure you had a family member that you had issues with in the past, but just in order to rekindle that relationship is very, very. I love it. It's great.
And they are genuinely tight right now, which is really great.
Coming up.
This lawsuit between the Kardashians and Ray J has just taken an even more ridiculous turn. The Kardashians say that Ray J defamed them by saying that the Kardashians are the subject of a federal racketeering investigation, which is not true.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at.
TMZ.
This lawsuit between the Kardashians and Ray J has just taken an even more ridiculous turn. So the Kardashians, Kim in particular, has filed new legal docs. Remember that the Kardashians say that Ray J defamed them by saying that the Kardashians are the subject of a federal racketeering investigation, which is not true. I mean, that is just not true. There's no evidence of that. Ray J said it, and they're suing for defamation, saying it has really hurt their reputations. I don't know that's true at all, but that's what they say. So here's what Kim is saying. She is saying that what Ray J said will impact her ability to practice law in the future. So in these documents, this is Kim. It is my understanding that before becoming an attorney, the California State Bar evaluates moral character through a comprehensive background investigation, including investigation of allegations of criminal misconduct or dishonesty. And Kim goes on to say that they look at moral character and that the allegation itself could impact her ability to practice law. So in response to that, Ray J took a shot at Kim, who failed the bar exam, saying, for this ever to be an issue, Kardashian must first pass the bar exam, something she admittedly has not yet done. So the idea that if Kim passes the bar exam, the State Bar of California is going to say, Ray J said on some YouTube when he was out of his head
that the feds are after her.
That the feds are after her. We're not going to. It's ridiculous.
No, never would happen?
Ever in a million years would never happen. And so why are the Kardashians suing him? Because it's not affecting their reputation.
I think they just want him to stop talking. I think he, every year, comes out with some new statement about the family, some new drama that he wants to drag them into. So yeah, I think they kind of just want to use this to make him shut up.
You know what I think this is about?
What?
The sex tape.
I think that also is part of it, yes.
I think this is about the sex tape and all of this stuff about racketeering and everything else. They want him, like you said, to shut up because he keeps bringing that up, tape. And they want to put that so far in their rear view. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I mean, I think if they end up in court in this thing, I think that if it ever went to a jury, the jury would say, yes, you've defamed them. And here's what you're going to get, $1. Because
you can't prove damages. Yeah.
What have they done? I mean,
they haven't lost endorsement deals. They haven't lost TV show. I mean,
anything,
yeah, nothing. Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
And so the idea of going through this, and they're probably at this point they're going to be paying millions of dollars in attorney's fees, millions of dollars in attorney's fees.
Absolutely.
For what? And they're going to get $1 back. I mean, seriously, they will get $1 back.
I also don't think it's going to shut up Ray J, but yeah.
I don't think it's going to shut up Ray J either.
Yeah.
I am Laura in Anaheim, California, and Scooty Bike Ray J isn't wrong. Never thought those words would part my lips, but to say that he's jeopardizing her being able to become a lawyer and she's never passed the bar is uncultivated, especially since it's been some time now. So is it really a comment issue or is it a realization that time has lapsed and nary a past bar exam in sight? No shade, but would this really be discussion if she did pass the bar? Questions that need answers.
Well, it's not going to have an impact if she passes the bar. But honestly, I think Ray J's lawyer does have a point here that for Kim to say she's suffering damages when she hasn't yet passed the bar exam, so it's not an issue, I think Ray J scored a point here.
Coming up.
So in 2018, a guy named David Martinson posted a video on YouTube with a confession. He's just ugly, he says. But there's one woman by the name of Julie who said to him, she commented, "I actually think you're kind of cute, to be honest. I mean it." Well, guess what?
Be right back.
So in 2018, a guy named David Martinson posted a video on YouTube with a confession. He's just ugly, he says. And this video resonated like you would not believe. 26 million people saw this video. I'm going to tell you a story about David and then bring him on. But first, here's what David said about himself.
I feel really alone, and I felt like I was gonna search YouTube for people with the same issue as me, and that is being really unattractive. I've met people that are girls that are extremely overweight and don't look well as well, and they tell me, "You're not my type, you're way too ugly," or they make up an excuse like, "Oh, you didn't text me the same day, I can't have you as a contact," and they do anything to get rid of you. So where am I standing in this all right now? Extremely depressed, extremely sad, feeling like giving up. I've never in my entire life gotten a single compliment that's been real. Everyone has always just used me. When it comes to love, at least for me in the place I live, only matters how you look.
Well, this resonated with people in various ways. There are a lot of people who just felt that it was so sad and heartfelt what he said. And there are others who mocked him. But there's one woman by the name of Julie who said to him, she commented, "I actually think you're kind of cute, to be honest. I mean it." Well, guess what? Take a look at this picture. This is Julie and David and their child. They are now married. And I'm so excited about this. I'm going to bring them on right now. David and Julie, you are in Sweden, I know. Welcome to TMZ Live back here in the United States.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
So, I'm so happy that you guys found each other, but I want to start with the video. Were you just trying to get this off your chest? I mean, there were some people who thought you were fishing for compliments. There were some people who felt it was a cry for help. What was the purpose of putting that video out?
All right, so there's not just one single specific reason for that. I was going through a really bad time in my life. I had been single for about a year, roughly a year or something like that. And none of my friends were available to support me. And during those tough times, what I used to do is I used to write my feelings down in a notepad and then I just delete it. But this time I decided I'm gonna make a video that I hope no one will see, and I'm just gonna put it up on a brand new YouTube channel and hope it gets lost in the ether.
And it didn't. 26 million people saw it. Julie, you were one of the 26 million people. What was it that made you to kind of connect to David?
Well, to be fair, I just found him cute. I mean, many people ask me what motivated you? And the raw truth is like, I just found him attractive. He was attractive to me. So I just felt like giving him the compliment. And then we started talking through Discord and we just connected very deeply. Like we realized that we were meant for each other.
Now, I'll play Dr. Phil. So now you have found the love of your life. You have a child together. You have a solid family. What does that do to your underlying feelings of feeling ugly?
I don't know. I'm just extremely lucky person. I gotta say, which is something I always used to say. I'm very unlucky in everything, but this one time I finally felt like I'm extremely blessed to have been able to get such a reach and find such a wonderful wife and lifelong partner. However, I still feel like it's like the core message and the things that I said in the video are actually true still. It's a struggle I've gone through most of my entire life. And more or less, if I had to reflect back on it, I think I was a little bit too negative, but I mean, I was drunk, I was really depressed,
and I just went very hardcore on a very doomer mode. I believe that even if a person is unattractive, there are ways to find happiness and find a partner. It's just a very tedious and unfair process for most people. So I understand it, and at the same time, I feel like an outliner in a way.
You know,
or outlier. My English isn't perfect. Sorry.
No, you're doing great. I gotta say, when I first read your story, I didn't see the video at first. I read it, and I didn't know what I was gonna see when I watched it. And then when I watched it, I thought, this guy is kind of in his head because he's not physically what he was describing, because when I had read the words. And I'm looking at you now, and I see you got a hat on, you've got big glasses on. Are you still like kind of covering up because it affects you?
At this point in my life, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care. I mean, all that matters to me is that my wife is happy, and that's kind of that was my mindset back then too. Because if the whole world found me unappealing, that wouldn't matter as long as there's that one person who wants to be with me and is happy with me. That's the only thing that matters. So, I mean, of course, I still have underlying bad self-views, but it kind of shifts. Most of my life, when I've looked at myself in the mirror, I usually think like, I'm not that bad looking, you know? It depends on the day and stuff, especially when I was younger, because when I was younger, I was extremely fit. So I used to look at myself and I was like, you know, I went into everything with a good confidence, and I was repeatedly shut down and had all these bad experiences. So I learned that what I think doesn't really matter. It's how you look is something that others perceive, and like that's what really matters. Your own self-view is not gonna do much, you know.
Julie, when you guys are sitting around the dinner table or just talking, does this subject come up still, or is it kind of in the past and you just live your life? Or because it sounds like he still deals with this. So is this something you guys talk about?
Well, to be fair, that's kind of in the past. Like, we're just like any other married couple. We just live our life. Like, we just do our daily routine, take care of our baby. But yes, sometimes he might get a little bit depressed. For example, he doesn't like me taking pictures of him. He doesn't like taking selfies. Sometimes I want to take cute couple selfies, but he's like looking the other way because he doesn't want to look at the camera. And I try to assure him, honey, come on, I love you. You're beautiful to me. It's just a picture for us. Come on. But yeah, I mean, I can still see that he doesn't have good self-esteem, which is something I'm trying to reinforce on him, but that's up to him, you know.
It's more like whenever I see myself, it kind of, the past comes flushing back and I get depressed. So I get depressed when I see myself. It's not necessarily that I think I look bad or something, because many times I see myself.
Yeah, you don't. You don't. I'm just telling you as an objective observer, you do not. Who does baby look like?
She looks like she looks like a baby. Like, I have to say, to me, everyone says that she got his size and she got my my mouth. So she's like a cute mix of the both of us.
Well, look, I love having you guys on. It's such a nice story that you guys found love, and we're really happy that you spent some time with us. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Really appreciate it.
Coming up.
It is a whole new world in the world of divorce. Influencers who are either engaged or married. What happens if it goes south and they have to look at the assets they have to split? And maybe the biggest asset they have is their IP.
Be right back.
It is a whole new world in the world of divorce. It used to be that when couples fight over, you know, who gets what, it's about money and furniture and things like that. And, then all of a sudden prenups came along, and then people would kind of account for, my salary is my salary, and what you make is what you make. And we're going to separate the two so that if we get divorced, I keep what I made, you keep what you made. And that's kind of clean. Here's the issue in 2026. Check this out. These are influencers who are either engaged or married, and they're all tying the knot. What happens if it goes south and either they have a prenup or don't have a prenup, and they have to look at the assets that they have to split? And maybe the biggest asset they have is their IP, their intellectual property, where they have created, maybe even jointly, an Instagram account or something on Twitter or YouTube or Substack or something where you can't necessarily say, what are those 678,000 followers worth and who gets what?
Well, I mean, in any other asset, right, let's pretend there's no prenup. Those are just an asset like any other.
But how do you value it?
Well, it's got value, right? So they have 500,000 followers or 2 million followers, and they make a certain amount of money based on those followers. That is a joint marital asset.
Okay, but here's the thing: say you've got somebody. If I'm married to somebody and I have my own Instagram account and they say, well, that should be split and I pay them money. But what if they have like a joint thing? And if they have a joint thing and somebody says, well, it's worth $2 million, so I get $1 million. And then the other person says, well, you're not going to get $1 million because when you go away, it's not going to be worth as much anymore.
Sure.
So you shouldn't get $1 million, you should get 300,000.
I think, look at the Bezos, what they did with Amazon, right? They kind of created it together, but he became the face of it and everything else. So if that situation, if there's no prenup, how would they have worked that out so that it's so much more valuable to him, even though they created it together? It's no different than creating the IP in the online TikTok space.
The only difference is that with Amazon, you can look at clear profits and losses.
Oh, you can here too, right?
Yeah, but it's more ephemeral. That you're looking at followers, and how do you monetize a follower? What are they worth? I mean, they're going to be worth something to an advertiser, right? But how do you monetize a follower who might go away?
Right.
Hey, Aiden, come over here real quick. Aiden,
Aiden,
come here. We're talking about influencers who get married and then divorce, and how they split up a YouTube channel or an Instagram channel. They are getting divorced now. I mean, because I've been reading about it, that there are influencers who get married, and I'm seeing more divorces these days.
Okay.
Are you?
I'm not. I feel like last time I saw that was like the Ace family when they got divorced. Catherine and Austin McBroom.
Oh, I remember that actually.
Yeah. When they got divorced, it was a huge thing too, because everyone was like, "What are they like? How are they going to split up the money from these channels?" But I've seen more breakups, not with even people. It's like when two friends get together and make a big Instagram account or a big YouTube account and they break up. It's as if a couple.
Well, it's kind of the Alice Cooper thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of that.
Yeah.
Coming up.
So Benny Blanco is taking his dirty feet on the road. Jimmy Kimmel decided he was going to get a piece of the action here, so he brought Lil Dicky and Benny Blanco on the show to talk about Benny's dirty feet.
I have great feet. Hold on.
Be right back.
So Benny Blanco is taking his dirty feet on the road. So we showed you yesterday that during the filming of their Friends Keep Secrets podcast with Lil Dicky, we saw Benny's incredibly dirty feet on Lil Dicky's sofa, which was pretty disgusting. And this got a lot of traction. A lot of people were talking about it. He ended up on a foot fetish website, got 3 out of 5. And so Jimmy Kimmel decided he was going to get a piece of the action here. So he brought Lil Dicky and Benny Blanco on the show to talk about Benny's dirty feet.
First of all,
inexplicable.
First of all, it's the facility's fault. It's not mine. The floors are. I have great feet. Hold on.
Now you're saying the facility.
It's Kristen and
someone's house.
Someone zoom in on my foot. Look at that.
We can't see the bottom.
Okay, look at that foot. Clean foot. Look at that. Are you kidding me?
It was the first day we filmed anything, so the crew was coming in and out. It probably was a little bit.
You should get an OnlyFans for that thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So you're saying that Dave's floors are not clean, and that's the reason that your foot.
On that day, it was.
Thank
dirty.
you.
On that day.
On a few days. A few of the days it's been dirty.
I got to say, the dirty feet got 3 out of 5 on the foot fetish website. And so we looked again to see how they would evaluate it with clean feet, the way he was on Jimmy Kimmel last night. And he only got a 3 out of 5. So clean feet didn't score him anything more than dirty feet.
I'm Marie Ledbetter from Fort Smith, Arkansas. Benny's feet went viral, and through it all, Benny continues to show up smiling. That's undeniable main character energy. At this point, Benny's feet have generated more media attention than many of today's biggest celebrities. Benny didn't simply launch a podcast. He created a true soul content.
Oh, God. Oh, please.
I'll see my way.
What else you want to talk about?
Hi, I'm Allison Smith. I'm from Columbus, Mississippi, and I'll be talking about the case with the lawsuit with Kim Kardashian and Ray J. Now, in my opinion, Ray J rants are not helping Kim Kardashian, but at the same time, it's Ray J. So people are not really taking Ray J serious. They think that he is doing this for attention or looking for a clippable moment. Now, she's going to have to go through California moral case review anyway, so they're going to be looking to see if she has anything in her past, regardless if Ray J is saying anything or not.
No, you know what they're going to do? They're going to have a committee and say, well, we should look at the sex tape and see if this is morally reprehensible. One more.
This is Heather Monica, and I'm going to be speaking about Savannah Guthrie. She still hasn't made a decision on whether she's going to return to the Today Show, which is really understandable considering the circumstances and what her family is going through after her mother got kidnapped from her home not that long ago. I believe personally she has worked so hard to get that position. I personally think that she is going to come back to the Today Show.
We just don't know. I mean, ultimately, it's her decision.
Coming up.
There is a chance Rihanna is making new music. This guy, Eric, knows everything about music, real or fake.
Be right back.
There is a chance Rihanna is making new music. This guy, Eric, knows everything about music, real or fake.
At this point, I think she just enjoys getting our hopes up.
So she's in the studio.
It's been 10 years since her last album. She will post pictures in the studio, or there were shot pictures of her like shooting a music video once, and nothing ever comes of it. And then we get her Smurf soundtrack song, which is one line looped over a beat. But maybe this time it's real.
Okay, so she's in the studio, and it's kind of disco-y.
Well, we don't hear any music in the studio. You see her, she's got a book writing maybe notes or lyrics or something. She's at a mixing board. She's with like her songwriting partners. Seems like she's recording something, but it's a full video of her whole night. The first half of the night is her at a Fenty meeting. The last part is her making a Mardi Gras costume for her son Riot. And in the middle is the studio footage. There's no music on the studio part, obviously. The first part, she's playing Le Freak by Chic, like one of the great disco classics. The last part with the kids, she's playing Chaka Khan's I'm Every Woman. Both of those are disco funk classics from 1978.
She could bring
maybe
disco back. She could literally bring disco back. That would be
quite an accomplishment.
That would be the end of my life. That would make me totally satisfied.
You're gonna go club into Rihanna?
Oh, absolutely.
All
Roller
right,
skates.
Now she has to do it.
Okay. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.